Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening, Andrew.
Are you being served?
Yes.
Series 6.
Series 6.
Which, as you've pointed out, the DVD
Yes. Still has Mr. Granger on it.
still has Mr. Granger on it.
I suppose it was too expensive to keep changing the cover.
Pass me that cover again. And the DVD cover also appears to show an episode that's not on this disc where Mr. Humphreys is reduced to the size of a borrower. Judging by that photo.
Yes.
Unless they're going to sort of shrink him down and inject him into somebody or something
Maybe.
like that.
Yeah.
But it's 1978 and it's November 1978.
So it's been quite a big gap between the last series and this series.
Yeah, Wednesday the 15th. But of course, in between then and now, you have got the movie,
Yes.
which was out in sort of summer 77, and that actually is the last appearance
Of Mr. Granger.
of Mr. Granger. We also didn't mention Bob Spears last time.
right, yes.
So, Bob Spears. But, yeah, it's a Wednesday. You've got schools and colleges, you and me. There's a programme about learning Spanish, which is produced by Madalena Fagandini,
Oh, okay.
who, does that ring a bell?
Vaguely. Yeah.
Ex of the Radiophonic Workshop.
Oh, right, yeah.
She produced Time Beat.
Oh, she's, yeah.
Ray Cathode, better known as, and then she went on to be a producer, and I
Okay.
think she did Boy from Space.
Oh, right, okay.
But she's here producing a show about speaking Spanish. Speaking Spanish. Pebble Mill, Delia Smith's cookery course, eggs.
Okay.
That's just it, eggs.
Why does it close down for like half an hour?
Closed down for half an hour. Play School, the Crow Who Wanted a Drink.
Oh, it's the one putting the stones in.
But that's on Fingerbobs.
Yeah, but it's a really good, it's a very good story.
Alright, okay. Wally Gator. See you later, Wally Gator.
Yeah.
He's got a collar and he's got a hat.
Yeah.
Cause and a speedboat for some reason. Although
Even though he's an alligator and he can swim.
Jack and Ori, Pepito. Okay. With Steve Hodson, whoever he is. Animal Magic. Wild Wallabies. News Round, The Moon Stallion,
Okay.
by Brian Hales with Sarah Sutton.
Okay.
News Nationwide. Are You Being Served is on at 6:45.
Yeah,
That's
which is
really
early. Yeah. Mind you, there's not quite so much, apart from the one mention, which Dallas, you might come to in a minute. It's more family entertainment. I think it's more farcical and silly.
Right. Rockford Files at 7:15. Secret Army, the big one by N.J. Crisp at 8:05. 9 o'clock news is on at 9 o'clock. Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin, 9:25. Sports Night tonight, and The Sky at Night on the Crab Nebula.
Oh, okay.
So, nice range of shows, really, I think. So, I might have seen a fair bit of that.
You might.
Wouldn't watch the Rockwood Files,
No.
because I'm never really into that. But
No.
anyway. But we start with Mr. Harmon, and I think it's Ivy
Yes, possibly.
who's cleaning, and Mr. Harmon's singing about You Need Hands.
You need hands.
Who used to sing that?
Max Firegroves.
All right. He's got a unisex display model.
Yes. So it's a gentleman, and then you put things on it, and it becomes bosoms. It becomes a lady. But he gets his Raquel Welch mixed up with his Twiggy.
Yeah, he's got mismatched bosoms.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
one's big and one's not so big.
Young Mr. Grace appears to welcome people back from holiday.
Yes, except there's nobody there.
So there's a sort of link with the film there, because they went on holiday.
But when they all come in, they've all got different stories.
Yeah, they didn't go on holiday to where they went in the film, but
No.
this is 1978, so the
It's
film
been a
was in
year
77,
since, yeah.
so it's not the film that they're
No.
coming back from. They're
It's
coming back from another.
yeah.
So there's a whole missing year.
Yes.
That we never know about. First appearance of Vivian Johnson as the nurse. She doesn't really get much to do, but
No, she doesn't even get to say anything.
no. Mr. Rumbold's been to the Coconut Islands, and he's got a comedy plaster on his head, hasn't
like
he?
a crisscross
the
one.
cross one,
Yeah.
like you get in sort of the Bash Street Kids or Viz or something like that. Because a coconut landed on his head.
Yes.
Mr. Harmon takes the dummy away, or it sort of lurches
Yeah,
over,
it falls over.
and he has to pull it off by the arm, and he sort of covers it a bit.
Yeah.
Peacock arrives with a note from the doctors.
Yes.
He's got a throat condition that he picked up whilst yodeling in Switzerland.
Yes.
And he's got pills, a gargle, and a throat spray. And to show this throat condition, they've got a silly electronic voice effect, haven't they? As though it's like sort of a sort of ring modulator or something, and
like
they've turned it up really.
One of the
really high pitched.
Smash Martians.
Yeah, it's more like a sort of 80s Cyberman voice. If you took out all the bass, it's like really high pitched. And his medicine's got side effects, hasn't it? Real Jack Douglas sort of.
And he throws his throat spray over the other side of the floor, and then Mr. Rumbold
stands on it. Yeah. Miss Brahms comes in all posh. She's been to elocution and deportment lessons because she heard herself on the tape and didn't like her voice.
Yes.
Mr. Lucas has got amazing hair, hasn't he?
It's the most stupid wig you've ever seen, isn't it? Let's be honest.
And he's walking funny because he got burnt feet in Skegness.
Yes.
Because he was with a female acrobat.
Yes.
And they were doing some juggling or something. And then her dad came home, he's a fire eater, and then he sort of got the paraffin out. And, it was like the towering inferno nearly, wasn't it? Mrs. Slocum comes in. She's blue.
Yes.
Well, her hair is
blue. Yeah.
And she's got I've put a false nose or a nose cosy.
It's like a nose cover.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same sort of thing as I've forgotten his name.
Who?
The astronomer.
Oh, Tycho Brahe.
Tycho Brahe.
This was gold.
Yes.
This is plastic.
Yeah, he had a false nose, Tycho Brahe.
It's full of soothing ointment because she got a touch of the sun at the Costa Blanca.
Yes.
And Mr. Lucas is referred to as Samson, isn't he? But the Mrs. Slocum is sort of a bit disappointed.
Yes.
About her visit to Spain because there was no bottom pinching going on, despite what she'd heard. Enter Mr. Humphreys in a peach ensemble.
Yes,
it's peach and white.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's like, think of the man from Del Monte, but instead of being in white, he's in peach and white, isn't it? With a hat and everything.
He's come straight from the airport, where there was a custom officer looking for a rhinoceros horn.
Yes.
So he was like searched, wasn't he? But he's actually come from Guernsey.
He has.
Yeah. But there's an announcement. Mr. Harmon appears with a replacement throat spray.
Yeah.
And apparently, more details on what happened to Captain Peacock. They were all sharing the same horn, weren't they?
Yes, French horn.
Alpine horn.
Alpine horn, sorry.
And Captain Peacock was the last one to have it,
and he didn't wipe the end.
He didn't wipe the end of the end of his horn, did he? When he put it in his mouth, he got a dose or something.
He got germs.
Yeah. And apparently this can happen when you're in a hurry, according to Mr. Humphreys. So I don't know quite what sort of horn he's been blowing, but never mind. But the announcement is that Mr. Tebbs is going to be taking over.
He's going to be joining the department, gentleman's department.
Mr. Humphreys was considered for the position, but he was considered to be too young. And they sort of run through Mr. Tebbs's career at Grace Brothers, which is fairly lengthy. Bathroom fittings, footwear, greetings card novelties, soft furnishings, beddings, all of that. And this is James Hayter.
James Hayter, yes.
Now,
he's quite a well-known face,
I was going to say, his career goes back a long way, doesn't it?
Because I got quite excited. I stumbled across the film version of the Gideon stories.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he's in... Because they're almost like portmanteau tales. There's different bits. And he's in one of those. He gets killed off by somebody. I'm going, oh, it's James Hayter. He looks quite young.
And was it he and Mrs. Slocum moved to each other?
Yes.
You better demonstrate what
and
it
they sort
is.
Of go.
Well, he sort of nods at her.
Yeah. And she nods back.
Well, she always thought he had a stiff neck, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's called Percival. And he's presented with a new tape measure.
Yes.
And he's told about where everybody stands. And he goes, oh, no, 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 no. So they've got to change ends, basically, haven't they? He just sort of rearranges.
And it's sort of almost done in order of height, because
Right.
he got him, then you got Mr. Humphries who's slightly taller than him, and you got Mr. Lucas who's slightly taller than Mr. Humphries. So it sort of goes like that.
But to me, if the customers come in,
Yes, Mr. Lucas.
Mr. Lucas will get first dibs
Yes.
because he'll be the one standing closest to him.
Yes.
So maybe he hasn't thought about that.
No.
I don't know. But he says he likes to take care of sort of little things, the details, because
The
he
big
says
things will take care of
big
themselves.
things take care of themselves. Yes. And we get a sort of shot of Mrs. Slocum's nose, and they made it all red, haven't
Yeah.
they? And a posh customer comes in, and Miss Brahms does her posh voice, and the customer thinks she's taking the pee and
Yes.
sort of goes off. Then Mrs. Slocum sort of tells her off a bit, doesn't she? About her sort of bosoms being hitched up and stuff.
Yes.
And they have a little bit. They're sort of a bit snippy at each other for most of the episode.
Yes.
But yeah, Mr. Humphries is now back to normal. And apparently he's got a friend who's a wizard with gussets.
Yes.
Yeah. Then there's a fluting lesson, isn't it? So
Yes.
this is harking back to the early days.
Yes, because Mr. Lucas's fluting is not up to standard.
Yeah. Mr. Humphries' fluting goes limp though, doesn't it?
does.
He sort of holds it up in the end, it just collapses. But apparently some starch in the water will help with that. Mr. Tebbs is quite pleased though that everybody can flute, although Mr. Lucas sneezes and immediately pulls his out again. So then we're into the canteen, which seems to have had a slight redesign in the intervening
it's sort of brown now,
months
isn't it?
or years or whatever. Captain Peacock's been up to the boardroom, and the word is there's going to be a royal visit, and they're going to be coming past the main entrance, apparently.
And they might come in.
Apparently they have had a queen in Grace Brothers before.
Yes.
And Mr. Humphries wonders about that, but it was Queen Mary.
Queen Mary, who came with His Majesty Queen George V.
So when would have this been?
It's for the Jubilee,
Yeah.
which would be 1935.
Okay, right. When did Grace Brothers start up?
Late 20s, wasn't
All
it?
right, okay.
So,
Just wanted to check. The
it
dates.
was. Yeah, it doesn't add up because I think Mr. Grace he's got his fish
Stall.
barrow thing,
Yeah.
hasn't he? In the early 20s, and then by the late 20s, he's got a
Right.
department store which he inherited from an uncle or something.
Yes, but apparently the king got a freebie Homburg.
He did,
didn't he? Because he expressed an interest, and they wonder whether Charles. How old is Charles going to be at this point?
1978.
Yeah.
He was born in 1948.
Yeah.
So he'd be 30.
All right. Imagine Charles being 30.
Mm.
But they
He
wonder
was 31.
if he's going to express an interest in Miss Brahms.
Yes.
The royal family have married commoners before. Can you name some commoners that the royal family's named?
Named?
Yeah.
The royal family's named?
Married.
Well, anybody that's not royal is a commoner.
Yeah.
So Anne Boleyn was a commoner.
All right. Any more recent than that or not?
Well, the Queen Mother was technically a commoner, though she could trace her ancestry back
Okay.
quite a long. The definition of a commoner in royal terms is somebody who doesn't have royal blood in their veins,
Okay.
even if you're at the top of the aristocracy, which most of them were.
So they have a meeting after hours to rehearse how this might play out. Mr. Humphries has suggested a round of applause, and he's sort of in charge of directing it. It seems to be. Yeah, they have a rehearsal with the royal party coming out of the lift, and that's Mrs. Slocum and Captain Peacock, accompanied by young Mr. Grace.
Yes.
Um,
Where do they
find this stuff?
find this stuff? Because, all right, Mrs. Slocum I can understand because it's just a sort of a dress and a hat, but Captain Peacock's got the full. He's got a
medals,
sash. He's got a hat,
sword.
A sword. Where do you get a sword from?
Adamant.
That's like a rapier, though, isn't it? So.
And then they get the red carpet out and sort of drape it down the stairs, and then they have to stamp on it.
Yeah, to get it going down.
But yeah, then they sort of pull the carpet, and then everybody falls over.
Yes.
Mrs. Slocum gets the sword up the arse briefly.
She does.
Then she gets trapped in the lift with young Mr. Grace with Peacock outside.
Yes.
And then his sword gets stuck in the lift door.
Yeah.
These are just like shambles, isn't it?
It is shambles. And Mr. Humphreys says, "Take your belt off," and then his trousers fall down.
And you get a lovely shot of his blue wife runs.
Yes.
What did you think? Nice legs?
Wasn't looking.
Wasn't looking?
No.
All right. Okay. I just put one for the ladies. Young Mr. Grace is sort of stuck at the top of the stairs then, isn't he? And so the Queen can't really help him down, so Rumbold has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then he wants to sit down. It's either that or fall over. Then he's got some words written down to say. First of all, he finds his gas bill. Then there's something about Fifi something or other, and ring the bell or something.
Go straight up.
And he grabs that back sharply.
He does, yeah.
So he needs his glasses, so Mr. Humphrey sort of reads it out, and he sort of tries to do Mr. Humphrey's voice. It gives me great pleasure.
Well, he says repeat after me. He didn't mean repeat literally after him, but that's what Mr. Gross does.
And you see the other ladies' assistants in this scene as well.
Yeah.
And again, we still know nothing about them. They still don't get to speak. The phone rings. It's Mr. Humphrey's mother, and the vicar's with her, who's after money for the church roof.
Yes.
And apparently under Mr. Humphrey's mattress, there's a football sock full of pound notes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then I like this bit with Mr. Lucas sort of falling to his knees.
Yeah, he does it. It's a hugely over the top bow.
He sort of leaps up in the air and then manages to go down on his knee.
Yeah.
If you got that wrong, that would blooming well hurt.
Yes.
Mr. Rumbold's still got his plaster on when he does his bow, so he's given a wig.
Yes. Why he can't take his plaster off?
Yeah. Well, there might be a nasty sore or something. So, Mrs. Slocum finds the wig amusing. He bows and it, of course, it immediately falls off.
Yes.
Then they go over to get something to hold it in place. What do they choose?
A garter.
Yeah.
And then he can't speak because it's holding his jaw too tightly.
After all this, young Mr. Grace is asleep.
Yeah.
He gets woken up. The Queen's here. Oh, bloody hell. That's for 6:45. You know, that's quite rude. And he just reads the note. Something, 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 something. Put Mr. Rumbold can't speak properly, and Mr. Humphrey starts to lose his rag a bit.
He does.
I won't have it. They're going to start rehearsing again, and Mrs. Slocum's trying to do a sort of walk, isn't she?
Yes.
Then Mr. Harmon says you've got 30 seconds to get out because they're locking up. Everybody legs it, and they appear to leave young Mr. Grace. Whether he stays there overnight, I don't know. But and they've got a big sort of banner up, a royal welcome from Grace Brothers.
And a picture of the Queen and Prince Philip.
And everybody's all dressed up now. They've all got that. Was it morning suits? Is it?
Yes, morning suits. Yes.
Rumbold,
of varying quality.
Yeah, Rumbold's got a wig.
Yes.
A better one this time.
Not much better.
Mr. Harmon's got a lift outfit in red that doesn't quite fit.
No, the trousers are too short.
But Mr. Humphreys has to stand with his hand on his hip because it is a dirty great moth hole. Miss Brahms, what's she got on?
She's got a sort of
dressy thing.
Well, it's a dress.
Yeah,
it's not a dressy thing. It's a dress. It's a sort of flowery sort of tea dress almost.
Yeah. She got a tiara.
And she got a tiara that says GB on it. If you notice.
Oh, I didn't see the GB. Yeah. Mrs. Slocum.
Yes.
She just covers a lampshade or something.
She's got a longer red dress with red, white, and blue frills. She's got a multicoloured, a red, white, and blue tiara, and she's got a big sash across her body that says supervisor.
Yeah. Mr. Harmon's got his transistor radio with one of those in-ear
things,
headphone things, and there's a commentary going on. Apparently the royal party have sort of standing outside Lally and Willits, who have apparently got a special offer on lawnmowers at the moment, but they all go to Mr. Rumbold's office
to look out the window.
We haven't really seen the window before. It's just suddenly grown a window, has it?
Yeah.
Unless he's got a different office now.
He might have a different office. There is. There is mention of a window because when they're talking about the takeover, somebody says that they're on the 3rd floor. And,
all right.
Yeah,
You've never had a camera angle to see it.
No, because
right.
you get to see it again later, don't you?
Yeah.
In later seasons.
But yeah, they're all sort of leaning out the window looking, and there's a load of plant pots.
Yes.
And there's some flags that have been draped.
Yeah.
Well, they're clearly left over from the BBC Silver Jubilee celebrations of 1977.
Possibly,
aren't they?
yeah.
So the royal party are heading for the entrance.
And they've paused outside.
There's more radio commentary. So Mrs. Slocum leans forward a bit, manages to knock a flower pot out the window.
Which just misses Prince Philip.
Yeah. And they all run into the car.
And drive away.
And Philip's car drives off at high speed. Yeah.
Well, I don't think Philip's driving it.
Just as well.
Yes. Well, he would have been a bit younger at this point. No, they would have had a driver, a chauffeur to drive them off.
And roll the titles. And of note, John Inman is now in second place, isn't he?
Yes,
After
it goes Molly Sugden, John Inman, Trevor Bannister,
Trevor,
and then Frank. I've forgotten his name. Thornton.
You were going to say Frank Windsor,
I was
weren't
going to say Frank Windsor. I had to just really stop and think about that. Sorry, I've been up since really early this morning.
Yes, but quite good, I thought. Quite fun.
Yes.
Do you think Mr. Tebbs fits in all right? He doesn't get a lot to do.
He doesn't get a lot to do. He will get more to do.
Does he? Yeah, there's ones where he has.
Yes, there's one coming up in a couple of weeks' time where he gets a bit more to do.
But I don't get the feeling this was like a Mr. Granger episode with Mr. Granger crossed out and Mr. Tebbs written
Well, they've had enough time to write it.
To do it. So,
it's not like it follows on quite shortly after the previous season and the death of Arthur Brough.
Yeah.
They would have had the best part of a year to write this, so it should be setting him up quite nicely, really.
Okay. So, promising start, I think.
Yes.
So what's next?
The Club.
The Club.
The Club.
Ooh, don't remember a lot about the Club.
Oh, it's a lot of. It says young Mr. Grace has offered the staff of Lady and Gents Wear the membership to the store's social club, but there's a condition attached. This will have to redecorate the room.
The wallpaper routine.
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes.
Look
If you've
forward to
seen
that.
a pantomime,
you'll
have seen it.
You know what that is. Okay. Well, we'll say good night then.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.